The comedian's appearance on America's Got Talent in episodes 1 and 2 presents a sharp, observational style of humor that feels personal, relatable, and surprisingly insightful. From the moment he walks onto the stage, he carries himself with confidence but not arrogance. He introduces his act by suggesting that he understands why people are single, immediately pulling the audience in with a topic that almost everyone can relate to. This idea becomes the backbone of his performance, as he blends humor with honest social commentary about modern relationships, dating habits, and human behavior. In episode 1, his audition focuses on first impressions and everyday dating mistakes. He uses simple situations, like conversations on dating apps or awkward first dates, and turns them into clever punchlines. What makes his comedy stand out is not just the jokes themselves, but how accurately they reflect real-life experiences. The audience laughs because they recognize themselves or someone they know in his stories. He avoids being mean-spirited and instead uses humor as a mirror, showing people how their actions, expectations, and communication styles often push others away without them realizing it. The judges respond positively, appreciating both his originality and his delivery. His timing is controlled, his expressions are natural, and he knows when to pause to let the laughter settle. Rather than relying on loud energy or shock value, he keeps the crowd engaged through intelligence and relatability. By the end of the audition, it becomes clear that his comedy is not just about making people laugh, but about making them think. This balance earns him strong praise and allows him to advance to the next round. In episode 2, his performance feels more refined and confident. Now that the audience is familiar with his concept, he goes deeper into the reasons people struggle with relationships. He talks about unrealistic expectations, social media influence, and the fear of vulnerability. His jokes highlight how people often want perfection while refusing to work on themselves. This honesty gives his comedy more depth, and the laughter feels even more genuine because it comes from truth rather than exaggeration. He also shows growth as a performer by improving his stage presence. He interacts more naturally with the audience and adjusts his pacing based on their reactions. His confidence never feels forced, and his calm delivery makes the jokes hit harder. The judges notice this progress and comment on how well he has developed his comedic voice in such a short time. They see potential for him to reach a wide audience because his material connects across age groups and experiences. By the end of episode 2, the comedian proves that his concept is not just a one-time idea but something he can build on creatively. His humor remains fresh, thoughtful, and engaging, showing that comedy does not always need to be loud or dramatic to be effective. Instead, his success comes from understanding people and using that understanding to create laughter. Through these 2 episodes, he establishes himself as a memorable act who uses humor to explore why people are single, while reminding everyone to laugh at themselves along the way. In episodes 3 and 4 of America's Got Talent, the comedian who claims to know why people are single continues to develop his unique comedic identity while proving that his earlier success was not a coincidence. These episodes place him under greater pressure, as expectations are higher and the competition becomes more intense. Instead of playing it safe, he expands his material and shows a deeper understanding of both comedy and human relationships, which helps him stand out among other acts. Episode 3 highlights his ability to adapt his humor to a larger stage and a more diverse audience. This time, his focus shifts from individual dating mistakes to broader social behaviors that affect relationships. He jokes about how people communicate indirectly, avoid honesty, and misinterpret simple actions, turning these everyday habits into sharp observations. The audience responds strongly because his jokes feel less like exaggerated comedy and more like truths people rarely admit out loud. His calm delivery and controlled pacing allow each punchline to land naturally, and his confidence feels earned rather than forced. The judges notice that his writing has become tighter and more intentional. Instead of relying on one central idea, he connects several smaller observations into a smooth narrative. This structure keeps the audience engaged from beginning to end. There is also a sense that he understands his role on the stage better now. He uses silence effectively, lets laughter breathe, and trusts the audience to follow his thoughts. This maturity as a performer earns him respect and positive feedback, reinforcing his position as a serious contender. In episode 4, his performance takes on an even more reflective tone while remaining funny. He explores how fear plays a major role in why people remain single, touching on fear of rejection, fear of commitment, and fear of being truly seen. Instead of presenting these ideas in a heavier emotional way, he uses humor to soften the message. The audience laughs, but there is also a noticeable sense of recognition, as if people are laughing at truths they have personally experienced. This episode also shows his growth in connecting emotionally with the crowd. His jokes feel more personal, suggesting that he is not just observing relationships from the outside but has lived through similar experiences. This authenticity strengthens his performance and makes his comedy more relatable. He avoids blaming or judging, choosing instead to highlight shared flaws that everyone can recognize. This approach keeps the humor inclusive and prevents it from feeling negative or critical. The judges respond with increased enthusiasm, praising his consistency and originality. They point out that his comedy has a clear point of view, which is something many comedians struggle to develop. His ability to make people laugh while also encouraging self-reflection sets him apart. By this stage of the competition, it becomes clear that his act is not just entertaining but meaningful in its own subtle way. By the end of episodes 3 and 4, the comedian proves that his idea has depth and longevity. He successfully builds on his earlier performances without repeating himself, showing creativity and growth. His humor continues to resonate because it is rooted in honesty and understanding rather than shock or exaggeration. These episodes confirm that he is not only capable of advancing in the competition but also of leaving a lasting impression on audiences who see a little of themselves in his jokes.